Hi guys, my name is Ember Strife, and today I'm going to be showing you what all goes into the installation of S.T.E.P, the Skyrim Total Enhancement Project. This video is mainly for those of you who might like to make their Skyrim look better, but the installation of mods is a lot of hassle and work, and it seems complicated and all that stuff. And what I'm hoping to show you today is that it is super simple to install mods. The only thing is that, especially with a compilation of mods that is this extensive, it just takes a lot of time and you have to have a lot of patience. So you might want to do this over the course of a few days instead of sitting down and trying to do it all in one session. If you already are familiar with how to install mods, then pretty much the only reason for you to watch this video is to see what I specifically use out of this compilation. I'm not going to be doing this as a complete step-by-step. It's mostly, it'll be kind of step-by-step until we get to the actual installing of the mods. It's going to take quite a while. There are several mods that are in this compilation, so it would take hours probably for me to go through every single mod installation. So we will speed up that process, but everything else I will go through to show you how to do. First of all, obviously, you want to go to Skyrim Nexus and download S.T.E.P. It will include a PDF file with links included to everything that you need. So he's made it fairly easy to have access to everything that you need. So props to the compiler, aka Daniel. He's done a very great job, in my opinion, of putting everything you need in one place to make your Skyrim look amazing. One thing you should probably consider before installing this mod is that it does impact your FPS a fair amount. The actual PDF file says that on his setup he gets anywhere between 5 to 20 FPS drop from all of these mods, and since there are a lot of mods and most of them are graphical, you are going to get some FPS drops. The first time I installed this, there was a lot more mods, and my FPS dropped from 60 to around 40-ish, 30-ish if there was a lot of trees or there's pretty intense combat with a lot of spell effects or something like that. So yeah, there is that to consider. There are settings in the compilation that will help you out with performance and things like that. A lot of the mods have different versions that are lower resolution that might help out with that as well. And some of the mods he actually recommends taking the lower resolution, but I don't do any of that. Another thing is you should probably, even though it will take longer, you should probably look at every single mod in the compilation and decide for yourself if you want to use that mod. I don't ever think it's a good idea to just blindly follow what somebody else thinks is good. You should definitely look at all the pictures, read all the well, not read all the comments. That you could read all the comments on every single mod if you wanted to. But definitely look at the pictures and the comparisons to see if it's something that you want in your Skyrim. So after you have this, if you already have mods, since this uses the Skyrim HD texture pack that Bethesda released on Steam for you as downloadable content, since that is used, it could affect mods that you already have installed. So what you might want to do is move your saves to a different folder if that is a concern to you. Uninstall Skyrim, reinstall it so that it's a clean slate, and then obviously get the HD pack. All you have to do is click on DLC, and there it is. I already have it. It does take a while to install, so you might want to do that before you do anything else. So, as you can see, this is a very long PDF, and it does have, these are where the mods start, and these are links to every single one of them, and you can see that it is an extensive amount of mods. So, the first thing you want to do is fiddle with your launcher options. So we will do that. I don't have it open yet, so So you want to go to options. You want to change anti-aliasing to 4 samples and not 8. This is because the FPS hit between 4 and 8 is a lot. And the quality difference between 4 and 8 is not incredibly noticeable. So 4 is the recommended option for that. You do want to make sure you are on ultra settings if your computer can handle that. And then you want to click advanced. The only thing on this that, you want to make sure FXAA is not selected. Then you need to decide if you want your shadow detail on high or ultra. And he tells you the pros and cons of that. I'm just going to go ahead and do high because shadows are not that big of a deal to me. And for some reason this isn't saved either. But he does have his own settings, which is this right here. It is completely up to you whether you follow this or not. You might want to go around in the game and with the default, or with them all the way up, which is what ultra settings puts them on, and then put these in and then compare the two if you have a way to do that. So hopefully that will save. For some reason I just did that and it didn't save. So that should be it for that. So after you've done all that, you want to run the game once, load all the way in, so it will create your .ini files, which I call any files. So if I talk about any files throughout the rest of the video, that is what I'm talking about, the .ini files. Next, you want to fix the HD Textures DLC. There is a problem with them, and you can see in these pictures right here. Some of the textures are light, I guess you could say. They're not textured properly, and they're kind of like black or highlighted or whatever they're not supposed to be. So you do want to get this, and I do believe I've already downloaded it, but just in case, pretty sure. While that's downloading, you can go into the data folder in your Skyrim folder, wherever you have your Steam directory set to. Mine is in games instead of the default program files. Then you want to locate the 2 ESP files for the high-res texture pack and delete them. Then you want to open the fix file, which did so weirdly. And you only want... That is not it. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm spazzing out. You can exit that. You only want the BSA file from the fix. And then you just drag it over and put it in your data file. Now you want to open your Skyrim from your Skyrim folder that is in My Games in your documents. This is where the .ini files are. And anytime you're messing with the ini files, it is a good idea to make backups. So you can see that I have my backups here. You want to go into the Skyrim.ini file, even though I said I was going to call them any files. I did not do that. You're going to add something to the archive section. This line of text here, without the quotes, you want to copy and put right after the textures.bsa. So right here, I'm going to just make a space anyways. And I'm assuming you add a comma after that. Just going to assume. And then you save it. And you're done with that. And to make sure they do tell you what it's supposed to look like. And yes, you do add that comma right there. So now you can go on to the mod installation part. It does say that you need ScriptDragon and this script extender. I generally don't use the mods that use that, so that is per your own discretion. So now we are just going to get down to installing all of these mods. Alright, so now we have all of the texture mods that we want installed. Just for reference, that took me about 4 hours to do. And like I said, the main part that's going to take you the most time is looking through each one of the mods, looking at the screenshots, and deciding if you want to install that particular mod or not. And it also takes a little bit of time to download if you don't have it. Most of the mods I already had from downloading all these previously, and not a lot of them had updated since last time, so that saved me a little bit of time. I did show you very quickly manual installation of mods, and also one of the mods that I installed with the Nexus Mod Manager. If you're reading this guide and they say to install it with the Nexus Mod Manager, you definitely need to do that. Just to give you an idea, this is Bellyache's Animal and Creature Pack. It is one of the first mods you will install, and it's an animal texture reskin. To install this manually, what you have to do is you have to load these screens somewhere. You have to extract those and then pull those up so that you can slide through them very quickly. And then looking at the screenshots, you have to go through each one. Each one of these categories will have a screenshot, and you have to decide which one you want. Like, there are 3 different kinds of carices. Is that how you say that? There's multiple skins of chickens. Dogs have multiple ones. Not all of them. Dragonflies do not. But still, every time there is an animal type that has multiple subfolders, you have to look at a screenshot and see which skin you would like for your game. What Nexus Mod Manager does is it makes that very simple, and you kind of saw it there very quickly. It's a drop-down list, and when you click on an animal, it will give you all of the options right there, and you just select it from a tick menu. And that makes it so much easier, so I definitely recommend doing the Nexus Mod Manager for anything that he recommends that you install with it. I'm not sure how well it does with updating and updating order. Pretty much if there's ever a future version of S.T.E.P that doesn't require a reinstall, usually he will tell you what mods to update and then how to overwrite those. But that is a conversation for the future. So you saw how easy the Nexus Mod Manager is compared to manual install for some of them. And I went too far. But most of the time, I like to manually install all of my mods. I don't really trust a program to install them correctly, and it doesn't take that long to install them. Pretty much what I do is I keep the Skyrim folder open on this screen where you can see the data folder. 9 times out of 10, what you will get when you extract or when you unzip an add-on or a mod is you will either get a data folder, or you will get a textures folder or a meshes folder, or something that goes in the data folder. So if you get a textures folder, all you do is you drag it and you actually plop it in to the data folder, and then override, say yes to all of that good stuff. If you get a data folder when you unzip, then what I do is I do the same thing, except I drag it to this bar down here, and then that will, once it copies, It will ask you if you want to merge the data folder. So that's a really easy way to merge the data folder so you don't have to go back out into your Steam apps common folder to drop this into the Skyrim folder. So yeah, that is how simple and easy it is to install mods. All you do is you unzip and then you click and drag. So for the gameplay mods, I don't install a lot of the gameplay mods and the interface mods and all of that. I'm going to quickly go through these and talk about the ones that I use. The reason that I don't use most of these is these are the add-ons that do require a lot of script dragging and the Skyrim script extender, so they're not essential to my Skyrim anyway, so I just don't bother with all of that. The ones that I use out of this is Move It, Damn It. That will save you from being stuck in a room that you're investigating or whatever, and then your follower is stuck in the doorway and you can't get out and it's hard to make them move. That will solve that. Realistic Ragdoll Death Force just makes the kill animations, the ragdolls when somebody is killed, it will make those more realistic. I don't use any of the content mods. Mostly all they do is add armor and weapons to the game that wasn't in the game originally. Because I'm doing a Let's Play of Skyrim, I want to keep my first playthrough as vanilla as possible, so maybe if I ever replay the game, I will look at some of these. Some of the weapons do look really cool, so that is your own decision if you want to use those. I do recommend you get pretty much all the sound and music mods except maybe Epic Sounds of Archery. I didn't particularly like the changes that they made to the archery sounds. But definitely get the Immersive Skyrim Thunder. That sounds amazing. And so does Sounds of Nature Fire and Sounds of Nature Water. Those are another two really great sound mods. I think they're all pretty great, but those are what I call the most essential ones. Improved combat sounds is new from last time, so I'm excited to get back in the game and see how different the combat sounds with that. And I don't use the activate fail noise removal. The fail noise doesn't bother me, so that is not essential to my Skyrim. For the interface mods, I use better sorting. That's really helpful for potions, for scrolling very quickly and finding the one you want, other than favoriting it. There's also a categorized favorites menu. What this does is especially for PC, it's nice to have a big, almost full screen list of favorites that are categorized into spells and shouts and weapons and things like that. So you don't have to scroll through your favorites, which is a problem that I've been having. This mod uses Script Dragon or the Script Extender, one of those for some of its features, like saving the screen resolution and setting up sets to use, but I'm not too worried about that. I also use QD Inventory. I think that's really good to save PC users from scrolling on an interface that is obviously console oriented. And I would try Sky UI, but we'll save that for later when I feel like using the script extender. For the fixes, a lot of these didn't apply to me, like the bookshelf patch fixes how books sit on a bottom shelf, like they were clipping off or something like that, but I don't do that much decorating, so that one doesn't apply to me. A lot of these are animation fixes and model fixes. Some of the armors clip the arm off when you're in first person in some of the armor sets, but most of those armor sets I'm already past using in my Let's Play, so that doesn't apply to me. What I would do is look at each one and look at a short description and see if that applies to you and if it's something that you want in your game. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to do INI tweaks. And basically all these is adding or changing settings in your INI files. And if you have Windows 7, I definitely recommend split screen here. So this is just adding. What you could do is just copy this and put it over here. I've already done all this. So yeah, you can see this right here was added. And then you just want to save and exit that once you're done with the Skyrim INI. And then it has more for Skyrim Prefs INI. Mostly these are changes. Okay, Mostly these are changes to the numbers. The Skyrim INI is mostly adding and deleting full lines of text. This is mostly just changing the numbers so that the textures render at a higher resolution and things like that. So the next thing is actually tweaking your graphics card. Now they do have settings for NVIDIA cards and ATI cards, but since I have an NVIDIA card, I will show you how to do that. What you need to do is get NVIDIA Inspector. It will look like this once you've installed it. And then there is a driver profile settings button right here. And it will bring up this large window full of numbers and letters. They do have handy screenshots for you to do, so I'll just quickly go through this. The first thing you want to do is in this top drop down, go to the E's for Elder Scrolls. It is not in the T's for the Elder Scrolls. And select Skyrim. Now what you can do to make your performance better is where it says ambient occlusion compatibility. By default, this will be the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, as you can see in the screenshot there. But if you want better performance, which is what I'm doing, since I'm recording Fraps, Fraps definitely cut your performance in at least half, or it does for me. Not performance, but your screenshot. So I'm trying to get as much performance out of the game as I can so it doesn't lag when I'm recording. So basically you just want to make sure that the screenshot matches your graphics card settings. Pretty much the only thing they change is the anti-aliasing transparency super sampling. You want that to be 2x. Down with texture filtering, you want these words, they're so fun to say. This second one, I'm going to cheat. The second one you want to be 16x, and you want user defined /off as your filtering mode. You want the LOD bias to be negative 0.250. You want to allow that before this will become a drop-down list, so make sure that this is allow. The texture filtering quality, you can do that on high quality, or you can do it on... Okay, no. This you want on high quality. The ambient occlusion setting you want on performance if you're doing this up here to make this better performance. For any other setting, if you're not doing the performance settings, you want this to be quality instead of performance. And you want your multi-display acceleration to be on single display performance mode. And then you just click apply changes. I do it a few times to make sure. And then that is all for that. Step 5 is mainly just troubleshooting hints and things. If you have done all this and then your Skyrim doesn't run properly or it crashes, you can go to this section and see what can help you. Like if the FPS drop is too much for you to handle, I know a lot of people, especially if you're modding Skyrim to look better, you also want it to run very smoothly, so you have to find a nice balance of it. So these are some of the things that you can do to improve FPS. And that is pretty much it for your modding Skyrim purposes. Hopefully this video has shown you that it is not hard to mod your Skyrim to make it look better. It just takes a lot of time and patience, and the compiler, Daniel, has done a very good job of explaining it very simply. If you have any questions, let me know and I will try to answer those. I have no doubt that even if what I was saying wasn't confusing, the way I said it might have been. So I will try to answer any questions you may have, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!